we shall discuss the essay The Problem That Has No Name by Betty Friedan, an American feminist. So, as a feminist, Betty Friedan has made it clear that she is in a way delineating the patriarchal culture which silence women, and also this essay is also a call to the end of sex discrimination. And the problems of women are always represented, are either buried or it is unspoken, and here it is being discussed about these factors. And in the middle of the 20th century, there was a sense of dissatisfaction, yearning and strange stirring that was seen in the women. And this particular essay also depicts the suburban American women, like how they think that to become a wife, to become a mother is the greatest thing, is the greatest achievement, is the greatest feminine fulfillment. But towards the end, they started having a kind of question in all of their minds, like, is this all? Is this all my life all about? So this remained a silent question for almost around 15 years, where women started seeking. They tried to think that, oh, it's only me who is feeling this, I should not think like this, I should be happy being a mother, being a wife, etc. So they started glorifying femininity and they imagined nothing beyond it, and their thoughts were all about how to catch a man, or how to make life more exciting for the husband, how to breastfeed the children, or even the discussions also will be about how to cope up the sibling rivalry and the adolescent rebellion, how to buy a dishwasher, how to bake the bread, or how to build a swimming pool, how to dress, how to look good, how to act more feminine, more exciting, etc. How to keep husbands from dying young, how to keep sons from becoming delinquents, etc. And they started seeing those women who became poets or physicists or presidents as unfeminine and happy. So it is very much absurd part, and they even consider such women as neurotic. And they thought that those women who give away their career, who give away their education, who doesn't have any political, doesn't go after political rights, are the ones who are truly feminine women. They started thinking like that. And women in those who are in the age of 40s and 50s, they started sacrificing their dreams, and they started keeping themselves only into the role of husband, as in the role of mother and wife. And women, those who are in 20s, they never even thought of a life. Their only dream was to give birth, to get married and give birth. And they applauded their femininity. And what happened? The age of marriage reduced to teenage, and women's education dropped out into 35 to 47%. And earlier women used to go for education, and when they go for education, they actually go college to hunt a man, to hunt a husband. And by the middle of the 50s, 60% of them, they dropped. Okay, and this introduced counselors in high school. And then at that time, the small women's girls, they all were looking into how to attract man, and then braziers were formed for girls aged of 10 with this puffs and all, which makes them feel like they have got breast. And the advertisement itself said, she too can now join the man trap set. Just imagine. And in the 60s, the birth rate increased like anything, and there was women had nervous breakdown. They were having so many issues. The women got cancer, etc. For the suburban American women, their kitchen is everything. They remain there, and they consider school education, they consider education, science education especially, as unfeminine. So the suburban housewives, they are almost into they are like free, they look very healthy, beautiful and all, but then they are not happy. Even after 15 years of World War II, they are not happy, and they consider it as a privilege, or they consider it as a credit to tell that their education is their occupation is housewife. And then there came The Second Sex, written by Simone de Beauvoir. And what happens, it was interpreted like this. Simone de Beauvoir is a French woman, so she is talking about French women, and it wouldn't matter to us. And in 1950s and 60s, they won their marriage, and they won herself, and even the psychiatrists were not able to find out what the problem of this is, or they thought that this isn't a problem, this is just, you just adjust it, you just be happy, etc. They never understood what is their problem. Their problem was never understood. Okay. And what happened later, women later this particular later it happened that it is not only the educated ones who are having this problem, even the housewife who think that their fulfillment is in being a wife and a mother, even they are started having this problem, and this was referred to as housewife syndrome by a Cleveland doctor. Okay, there were many desperate tone in their voices. They felt like the women started feeling like they don't have a personality. They have this identity crisis. They don't feel alive. Why they don't feel alive? Because the husbands are not interested in physical relations. The women, they have got greatest urge for sex, and then their husbands are not in too much into it, and then they didn't feel alive. They are not happy. Like they feel like this is all about doing the household chores, like doing all these works. Is that all my life about? Doesn't I have some kind of wishes, some kind of desires, etc. By 1960, education, and some people even commented that you take out the right for women to vote and all, then their problems will be solved, etc. Then in education also there were given more seats to boys and all. The solution that were given to women were to love their children and to give everything to the God's will, etc. Are only men supposed to be happy? Or women, they want to become like man, they want to be happy, they think that men are very happy, they don't consider themselves lucky to become a woman, etc. Why can't they accept their role gracefully? This became a question. Then slowly they started not searching for men, and they started being independent in their life. And by 1962, even television started broadcasting problems and advices about these kind of feelings. And then this problem could not even be understood by the writers or the scientists or the doctors. The problem was there even in the housewives, who everybody used to say that housewives will have the fulfillment. They are doing great thing. They are a mother, they are wife, they are doing a great thing. But even the housewives were having this problem. And some writer even commented that women were considered like sex creature, just a flesh where the men's sexual desire can be fulfilled. Okay. And why these women, their problem was mainly their boredom, because they felt life so monotonous, doing all the chores, like not doing anything else, only taking care of husband, children, etc. And then they had a kind of terrible tiredness, and this was referred to as housewives fatigue. Women should get an inner voice. They should search for that inner voice rather than the standard of feminine normality, feminine adjustment, feminine fulfillment, feminine maturity, etc. They should have that inner voice. And the main voice of all these women were the same. What it was? I want something more than my husband. I want something more than my child. I want something more than my home. I want something more than my husband, my children, and my home. So this is mainly their identity crisis, them not having a personality, and they want to do something in their life rather than just living in the four walls of the house. And this is what this particular essay is. As the name of the essay goes, what is the name of the essay? The problem that has no name. And this is referring to the suburban American women, and their thought of fulfillment of life is all about becoming a mother and a wife. Okay, so let us read their problem once again. I want something more than my husband, my child, and my home. Okay, so there has been a great journey. All this essay shows that feminism doesn't just sprout up just one day like that. It had a great journey of great journey of confusion, tensions, and all. So I hope you understood this essay, The Problem That Has No Name by Betty Friedan. Thank you.